Hi, I'm Lucy James, and I listen to the One Up Gaming podcast.
Hi, I'm Keith Allen, and I play Murphy on Z Nation, and I listen to One Up Gaming podcast.
I bang with One Up Gaming, drop more hits once I'm famous. The best, that's what our aim is. All platforms, what your game is. To the leaderboards, I'm coming. See me in a shooter, I can promise I'll be gunning. When I hit the music charts, I swear I'm gonna run it. Conte One Up, you can try, but we done it. Let's go. Alright, let's go to the best place for reviews I know. Xbox One and PS4, Wii U as far as consoles go. They do handheld PCs, merchandise for you and me. Contests that you gotta do, the prizes are for gamers who going hard all day. We really the boys cause you're just that great. Can't lose, there's too much at stake. You're a certified badass when you play.
I bang with One Up Gaming. I bang with One Up Gaming.
I bang with One Up Gaming, drop more hits once I'm famous. The best, that's what our aim is. All platforms, what your game is. To the leaderboards, I'm coming. See me in a shooter, I can promise I'll be gunning. When I hit the music charts, I swear I'm gonna run it. Conte One Up, you can try, but we done it. Let's go. Go hard all day. Conte, go hard all day, man. With One Up Gaming.
And we're back. It's One Up Gaming. It's episode 242. It's me, David, and we've got Brian.
Hey guys, what's up?
Not a lot. So,
This guy.
so I guess I tell you what. Some of the I haven't mentioned on the podcast, or we haven't really talked about it much. What other sort of websites are you doing at the moment, and what other podcasts have you just launched?
For me personally, we just launched the Dating Warriors page, which is for all the gamers, all the anime nerds. Basically, anime nerds, gamers, comic geeks. If you're out there and you're single, that's where we come in on our Facebook page. We launched that. We also launched our recent YouTube for the Dating Warriors, and my website that I've been working on is brianechols.com, which is got a whole bunch of content on there so far pertaining to things of that nature. We've been doing a lot of Comic Cons too, going to Comic Cons and meeting new faces and everything. Plus working on some game reviews, so I got that. The actual podcast, however, we just launched it through Anchor, and it's called Level Up Your Game with the Dating Warriors. The reason we call it Level Up Your Game is because as gamers, you know how in RPGs, how your characters gain levels with progress through the battles, they get the XP experience and you get leveled up. That's how it is with us in real life. We see it as you see life as a game, and everything that happens to you is an experience. So you take it and you learn from it, and you level up from it. So your ultimate goal is to find your dream partner, and then find somebody, maybe you want somebody to game with. Maybe you want somebody to watch anime with and share that. Or maybe you're just a Star Trek geek like myself, and you want to share your passions of cosplay. That's what we work with.
I tell you what, I couldn't think of anything worse than to spend time watching anime.
Myself, when it comes to anime, I don't spend a lot of hours on there. Like me and Jessica will maybe play 1 or 2 episodes on Netflix of Sword Art Online to catch her up because I've already seen them, or we'll watch Castlevania or something like that. But we won't sit there for hours on end binge watching. Of course, mostly it's like our weekends are like very sporadic. We just do random things. Like usually, okay, we're watching an hour of anime to wake up to. Okay, cool. Now what's next? Oh, let's go play some video games. Play some games for about an hour or 2. Okay, let's play some Magic the Gathering. Jump into the card games. And then before long, we're out traveling, doing fun stuff outside of the house because that's the ultimate goal. You want to get outside the house and do things. You can't just be sitting around all day gaming. I mean, yeah, some of the people out there want to be professional gamers. But you also have to have an outside life, So, yeah, we don't watch anime 24/7. It would be kind of boring sitting there just watching anime one right after another.
I don't know. So, which is your favourite Star Trek?
Next Generation.
Do you reckon?
Although that new Picard series, no spoilers, but the new Picard series is actually turning out to be quite interesting. It's different.
I think my favourite all-time would be Deep Space Nine.
Never saw it.
I loved the second season of Star Trek Enterprise. And Star Trek Discovery has been really good.
I'm still watching that one. I haven't finished season 1 yet, but I've heard...
Season 2 is amazing.
That's what I was about to say. I've heard nothing but great things about season 2
Yeah.
from people I met this weekend.
Yeah, it's good. So, you seem to have a busy few weeks there.
Yep, and then I'm getting ready to go to Michigan over here in the States to visit my girlfriend for an entire week, and we're going to play some disc golf and go out and enjoy ourselves and work on our new products that we're about to launch. We're about to launch a confidence course for dating and a membership course, monthly membership. We get group coaching from us. We're working on that and getting planned out for content, so it's going to be a busy week ahead, too.
So, have you managed to play any games in the last week or so?
Oh, yeah, every night. Every night. I always make time for my gaming. And let's just say I have a mix of different games that I'm playing right now. Like, I'm all over the place for games. I'm doing retro because I feel in the mood for retro. Like, right now I just started playing Final Fantasy VII again because Final Fantasy VII Remake's coming out. And I did play the demo of the remake, and I'm impressed. But I'm not going to cave $60 or £60 into the game. I'm going to wait till the next game comes out because they did say that this Final Fantasy VII Remake is the first of many different disc forms because they're episodes. They're full-length episodes. So I'm going to wait till the next episode comes out when the first episode goes on sale cheaper.
But you do know that they also said that each episode is going to be made by completely different game studios and be a completely different gameplay experience.
Yeah, I heard about that, but I didn't know if they were still sticking with that or not.
Well, that was the last I heard, that's what they were doing.
Well, if that's the case, I hope they make one like Crisis Core, because that's another game I've been playing right now, Final Fantasy Crisis Core on PSP, and that gameplay experience was unique. It was unique in such a way that it made me love the story even more. And the graphics were right alongside Advent Children, the movie, which was also a good movie. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do.
Oh, the Crisis Core movie?
Yeah, it's called Advent Children.
Yeah, I never saw that one.
It was good. The ending was sad.
Which is the one that I saw? Spirits Within.
Yeah, Spirits Within, which was not really a Final Fantasy movie, even though they titled it Final Fantasy.
I actually quite enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, I did too. A lot of people hated it. There's like, this isn't a Final Fantasy experience. I'm like, Final Fantasy is a game series where they went from crystals, and then they switched over to something completely different, and Final Fantasy is always changing anyway. Like,
well, yeah, that Final Fantasy, each game's completely different. Well, the setting and the theme of it all.
That's why I love Final Fantasy. I just educated my girlfriend Jessica over the weekend because I have a special edition of Final Fantasy 12. Is it 12? Yeah, 12. 12 when it came out on PS2, and it came with a DVD in the steelbook case of the history of Final Fantasy up until Final Fantasy 13, and which they were still working on making. And it shows the story of each Final Fantasy and what system it came out for in Japan, the release date, and it talked a little bit about each. So I was educating her about why I love Final Fantasy 7 and 8 so much. 7's always been my favorite because I've always loved Aerith, and I'm partial to that. But 8's got a good romantic story for me. 9 I've never actually honestly played. I have it, but I never got around to play it. And then 10, 10-2 was good, 10 was good, more romance. 11 was my first MMO that I ever played after I quit vanilla World of Warcraft back in the day. And then 12, I started playing it. Hated the battle system. Still have to get used to it. Jumped to 13. 13 was good. Still never finished it because it was another battle system I have to get used to. 14 was good for an MMO. And 15, I started playing, but I have a habit of jumping from game to game because when a new game comes out, ooh, shiny, let me play this. And then I forget about the other game I was playing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big role-playing game fan. So there's not that many that I've actually played.
Whereas me over here, role-playing games are my number one top go-to. Pokemon, Final Fantasy, Legend of Zelda.
Oh god, no. I hate The Legend of Zelda. Apart from the new game, because it's not really a Legend of Zelda game, it's just an open-world game where you traverse and stuff.
Breath of the Wild was cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one. Apart from the temples, I hated them.
I just saw in the news somebody completed Legend of Zelda without walking or running. They literally used flips the entire time to get from dungeon to dungeon and temple to temple. And I'm like, and then the horse. And I'm like, are you serious? Would somebody put that many hours into the game just to do that just for fun?
I don't think
Wow.
they did it for fun. I think they did it for a world record.
That's weird. More power to them.
Yeah. If they can do it, why not?
If they get the time to do it, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Like, you'd have thought they might have gone out and got a job, and but flipping in Zelda, why not?
Yeah.
So have you played anything else?
Yeah, I've been playing the Sword Art Online game back during the PS Vita and PlayStation 4 when it first came out days, which is Sword Art Online Re-Halo. I think it's Re-Halo Fragment. I think I got that one right. Which takes place in the Sword Art Online universe, but it takes place after the first season, after they'd already defeated Aincrad, and there's a Halo area, which is confusing, to say the least. I went back to try to finish that game so I can catch up. And then I've been playing a lot of a new game that just came out last year that I wanted to get for Christmas. Nobody bought it for me, so I bought it for myself. Was the Chocobo Mystery Dungeons Everybody. And the reason it's called Everybody is because it's basically a upgraded, whatever you say, from the Wii copy. Now you can actually make buddies with the dungeon monsters you fight. So you can actually use them as a partner. And they've added 2-player co-op, so you can sit down and do a dungeon crawler with your friend and play the Chocobo game. And my girlfriend said it was a fun little game because she's never played a Final Fantasy game before, and she said it was fun for her. The story's cute, in her opinion, but I like it, to say the least. It's got this annoying baby in there that keeps traveling from in between people's minds and messing with everything, and it's got a wacky little zany storyline, but it's fun, and now I can officially say I've officially played my first Chocobo Mystery Dungeon.
But have you ever played Chocobo Racing?
I've played the Chocobo Racing that's in Final Fantasy VII in the Golden Saucer, but I've never played the actual Chocobo Racing game itself that they came out with.
I think it was really bad.
It was bad. I saw the reviews. A lot of people hated it, yet the game is so expensive to buy now.
I don't know. I know there was like loads of other stuff like I think there was a Mega Man kart battle or something. I think. Mega Man kart racing. Let's have a look.
You get me curious.
Battle and Chase.
I'm going to have to talk to my roommate and ask him if he's ever played that then, because huge Mega Man fan, like he's obsessed.
I think it was bad.
And this came out on
PS1.
PlayStation 1. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Wow. And then remade it in PS2 and GameCube. Huh. Oh, now they know this exists. I don't know, to stay away from it. They try so hard.
It said that 92% of people liked this video game, so maybe.
They tried so hard to take and copy what was already done with Mario Kart. Mario Kart popularized it, and then all of a sudden, you get all these other knockoffs trying to come out, like PlayStation Battle Royale or whatever it was, came out. PlayStation All-Stars came out to try to copy off the Smash Brothers thing, and it flopped.
Yeah, but there was a game before Smash Brothers that was like a 4-on-4 sort of fighter sort of thing.
Huh.
But I think it was like only like a Japan only sort of thing.
Speaking of Mega Man Zero, the entire complete saga just dropped on Switch recently for $30 in the United States.
I think I've got one of the, or both of the Mega Man, is it Mega Man Legends?
Yeah, Legends for PS1.
Well, it was, I bought it on PS4, and it has like Mega Man 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah, that's the Mega Man Legacy Collection.
Legacy Collection, yeah.
That one's good. I've never successfully beaten a Mega Man game before, but Joe, my roommate here, like I said, he'll be tossing some reviews in here from time to time for you guys. But he beat Mega Man. He's good at like retro games. Like he can just sit down and he'll study what he did wrong and everything. I don't have time to study what I did wrong. I just want to play the game and be beating it.
But so, with me, I mean, I'd have a guess I'm a bit older than you. And I was about 15, 16 when the Sega Saturn came out. And that was the perfect age for like Virtua Fighter, Virtua Cop, Sega Rally, all these sort of like arcade-based sort of games. So I much prefer the games that you just pick up, have a 10-20 minute blast on, and then turn off. I don't really get into the games where you have to put in 20 hours just to get past the story. But that's just me.
Well, when the Sega Saturn came out, I was 8 years old at the time. So, yeah, that says a lot.
So I'd have a guess I'm about 8 years older than you?
I'm guessing.
So are you
15,
about 30, 31?
33.
I'm almost 39.
Oh, there you go. My birthday's not until September, so I'll be 34 in September.
Mine's next month.
Yeah, well.
So, anything else you've been playing, or is that roughly about it?
No, I've been playing The Division 2 on PlayStation. I picked up a copy of that when that was on sale for $5 over here at GameStop, and I've been playing that. And then I also picked up and started playing on Game Pass a game that got my girlfriend's attention, and it's a game that should be getting everybody's attention when it comes out on Switch later this year. It is a game called Indivisible. It is it's a 2D side scroller where you can go left and right, but it's not like one of the old side scrollers where once you move to the right, you cannot go backwards. You have to go forward. So it's basically like that, but it's got a spiritual taste to it. It's got like meditation states and inner states where you got to go inside. It's about this girl who has this mysterious power, and whenever she meets people, for some reason, she sucks them into her inner world, inside of her brain, inside of her head. And there's a bunch of wacky zaniness to it, but the combat system is really smooth, and the cutscenes are fully voiced over from what I've seen, and the animation is animated, so it looks like you're playing an anime side-scroller. But that's on Xbox Game Pass for people that have Xbox. It's also out on PlayStation right now, but she's looking forward to it on Switch. I've been playing a lot of that. And speaking of Switch, my go-to games on Switch right now have been still playing Pokemon, but I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh!, Legacy of the Duelist, Link Evolution, because card game fan, and since we can't find physical people to play physical card games, it's a digital. And then I've also been started playing and test drived a game called A Girl Who Chants Love at the Bound of the World, which is a visual novel, but it's got investigative quirks to it. And my number one go-to game that I've been playing, well, two number one go-to games I've been playing right now is Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE Encore, or should I say, is that a hashtag? I don't know. FE Encore, which is Fire Emblem mixed with Persona. It's a dungeon crawler. It's anime cutscenes again, but it's Japanese voiceovers. And then I downloaded a new little game a while ago called Phantom Doctrine, which is set in the Cold War over here in America, and your former CIA traveling with your own organization, trying to shut down a conspiracy organization, which is hell-bent on taking over the world and sabotaging the media and everything, which for the modern-day conspiracy theorists, they'd love that. But it's real-time strategy combined with, basically just think XCOM. If you played XCOM and you played any of the XCOM games on PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4, you'll know exactly where I'm headed with that. But those have been the games I've been playing lately, and then I've been playing a lot of phone games as well.
Right.
And a new phone game just dropped on phones for anybody who's a fan of Dungeons & Dragons called Heroes of Waterdeep. A fully narrated Dungeons & Dragons experience on phones.
I liked the old 80s Dungeons & Dragons cartoon show.
I never seen it.
You never saw it?
I never seen it.
Oh, God.
Because back then I wasn't allowed to have anything to do with Dungeons & Dragons because my family felt that Dungeons & Dragons was the epitome of all evil.
But to be fair, they're not wrong.
It's like, okay, well, hey, I still play the tabletop D&D. I have fun rolling my dice. After all, I'm the dungeon master, so I get to have fun and mess with people's games.
Things like that never took off in the UK.
It was big. It's still big. Because Wizards of the Coast is still trying to save their company, and they're coming out with new ideas. Like, their main game is Magic the Gathering, and they're trying to bring their player base back, but they just they're trying to mess with the standard gameplay and make people play standard more, which means buying more booster packs. So they're kind of losing their rep, but then their Dungeons & Dragons experience, it's all over the place. So they're trying to resurrect older campaigns from older editions to bring them back to modern campaigns for the modern-day gamer who plays tabletops like myself.
But yeah, it is quite amazing when you think, considering how similar the UK and America seem to be, it's like comics. In America, there's like hundreds of them released every week. Whereas in the UK, a lot of the comics were completely redone, and the only ones that kind of carried on were like the ones that were basically made for Sonic and things like that were basically aimed at the 5 to 10-year-olds.
Yeah. And comics are they're being printed, like you just said, a dime a dozen over here in America, yet at the same time they're not really surviving because for so long people already know the storylines of their DC heroes. They already know the storylines of their former Marvel heroes, so they're trying to come up with new storylines to make everything politically correct, and it's failing big time over here in the States. And so the only thing that they're sticking to right now is they know for sure that people will actually care for is TV shows and movies, because comics are not selling as much as they used to over here. Like, I talked to a couple comic creators at the con that I went to this weekend, and they're trying to do their own unique idea, and they have small audiences because of the fact that a lot of people have lost interest in the comics, but they're still going to the Japanese mangas, which are coming over all the time over here. And I just discovered that, speaking of manga and comics, Shonen Jump now offers subscriptions on phones for $1.99 a month or $2.99 a month over here. All you can read mangas. I'm like, okay, better than paying $15 for one manga book that you're going to read and then just shove on the shelf afterwards. And plus, comics have lost their value anyway. Like, back in the day, like the 80s, 70s, and 80s, comics were really popular when we were growing up as kids, and those things are now worth money. But then the comics that came out in the 90s were worth money. But the moment you hit the 2000s, up until where we're at now, 20 years later from when we hit the first 2000, and the value has dropped significantly on all those issues. Like some of them, yeah, okay, they sold for $3.99 in the store. They're now selling for $15 on eBay and stuff like that. But that's still not a huge rise compared to what happened during the 80s and 90s, where if you bought a comic in the 80s and then tried to sell it in the 90s, it was dropping up to like 10, 20, 30 times the amount of what it originally sold for compared to 5 to 10%.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's becoming the case with games too. Like games have lost their value. Like you got to know which games to buy and which games not to buy, because like I've noticed a trend with the company called NIS America and Atlas Games. If you buy one of their games on a console from Nintendo of a previous generation, right when you know the generation's about to stop, as soon as that generation stops and the next console comes out, you're sitting in money. Like, for example, GameCube. A couple of the games that came out on GameCube. A couple of their games that came out on GameCube are now worth a couple $100 compared to when they first came out and they dropped for $39.99 and some stuff. So you got to know where the games are. But the Call of Duties, the sports games, the non-anime games, the RPGs and stuff, they drop in price over the years. Unless, of course, you're Godzilla. Godzilla, the game that came out for PS4. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah.
That game bombed so horribly. I've never played it. It bombed so horribly because they tried to make Godzilla become like the Gundam series games when Gundam first debuted on PlayStation 3. And yes, while those games were fun, the storyline was unique, gameplay sucked. Yet, now it's hard to find a Godzilla game because it bombed so horribly and people are selling them on eBay for $100 or more.
Yeah, the PS4 version of Godzilla in the UK, you can get it for about 70 quid.
Yeah. See, Americans are sad to say about my own country, but Americans sometimes can be stupid. So people trying to sell this game for like $150, $200 on eBay, yeah, good luck. I don't understand why we drive the market so high with certain games. I don't get it. Like there's a website called pricecharting.com. You can go on there, and it's probably one for the UK too. Price charting. I think it's just a different address, but it's price charting. You can go on there and you can type in like whatever system you're looking for and whatever game you're looking for, and you can see the value of it. And you can even just type in systems and click systems, and it'll show you the most highest games for each system, and it'll show you like a little stock market of what its prices have been, when it dropped, when it went back up, why it went back up, things like that. So it gets you an idea of why games become popular. Like for example, the Fire Emblem GameCube game, Path of Radiance. I was going to buy a copy of that when it was $79 on eBay. Then it went up to $100, but then the Fire Emblem Three Houses dropped for Switch, and the moment that dropped, that price for the GameCube version skyrocketed. Now it's $150 for a copy.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those weird things where I think if a game comes out that's not brilliant and doesn't get many copies manufactured, they're normally the games that end up costing loads because they become very unique and a lot of collectors want them, and then there's not many copies to go around.
That makes sense.
But anyway, I will have a quick few minutes of just talking about some of the stuff that I've played this week. So I've continued to play a game called Hunt Showdown, and I don't know if you've heard of this game or not.
I saw the review, and I've heard of it, and I was wondering about it because I was kind of skeptical about it. That's a game where it's kind of like it's the one where it's kind of like Evolve, right? Where you have four hunters and then there's one player on the other side.
No. It's like Evolve, but it's done better. All the human characters are basically like bounty hunters. And you are in a team of 3, and there's 2 other teams of 3. And you can either all team up, or you can all fight each other. And you have to sort of like there's I think it's the R1 button, I can't remember now, but it's one of the buttons on the PlayStation pad that I played it on, and it makes the whole screen go like black and white. It's called dark vision or something like that. And when you're in that vision mode, when you're looking around the level, there's some stars and some little things sparkling, and that means that you need to go that direction, and you need to find clues. And once you've solved 3 sort of puzzles, it then unlocks where the monster is on the map, and then you have to try and get to the monster, defeat the monster, pick up all the bounty, and get to the basically the extraction point on the level. And if you manage to do that, you've completed and won the match. Or you can be sort of like sit back, wait until everything happens, and then just go in and kill the person who's got the bounty, nick that off them, and then you win. Or you all go man to man, kill each other, or you team up, and but because it's not like the Friday the 13th, like the Evolve, because of them games, it's like, oh, I don't fancy being the monster, I just want to be the humans, or I don't want to be the humans, just want to be the monster. Whereas at least this, all the people are the same, and you just got objectives to try and get done, and it just works really well. The biggest problem I had with the whole game is I don't know if it's just because the user base isn't very big, but the matchmaking, it doesn't take into account your skill level. It just puts any players of any skill onto the map. So you could be like a low level no one against some massively high person who's played the game thousands of times. So it can be a bit
challenging.
Hard. Yeah. But yeah, so that's, I mean, like, I'd easily recommend it. It looks amazing. It plays well. Smooth, fast, different.
I looked up the reviews. Looks like it's only on PlayStation, though? Or is it on Xbox as well?
It's on PC, Xbox One, and PS4.
Oh, then I can play it on Xbox if I can get a copy of it, because I don't have PlayStation Plus at the moment.
Because I'm sure it was on the Xbox preview program. I'm sure about that. I'm sure I read that. But yeah, it's Crytek. I didn't even know Crytek was still making games, or was still in business, to be honest. I thought they sold off all their assets last year when they were about to close.
Yeah, apparently this game saved the company, because a lot of people actually bought it. And they did make another good game for Xbox back in the day, Rise Son of Rome. That was a good game. I've never played any of the Crysis games, but I played the Far Cry series, the first one, and I also played Rise Son of Rome, and that was pretty good.
I played Rise Son of Rome at some event show before the Xbox One came out, and I was the only one that complained about the game, because when it was first shown off, when you were fighting enemies, and to do the gruesome kill, like the X button or the Y button or whatever it'd be, it'd pop up above the character that you had to press. But
yeah,
in all the previews, Microsoft and Crytek got told that was taking them out of the experience of the game. So what Crytek did, they took the big button off the head of the person, and a silhouette glue for about a second around the body of the person, either blue, red, yellow or green, which corresponded to the buttons of the pad. Which you might think, oh, that's a good idea. It doesn't have a big button press above the head, and you just press the right button, the right colour. Unfortunately, I'm colourblind, so I can't tell what colour it is that's flashing up.
Yeah, that can be a problem.
So for me, I was annoyed, and they're like, oh, we didn't think of that. I said, no, you didn't, did you?
Should have had an option in the options menu to actually change it.
Should have done. So the next two are the two games that came out for the PlayStation, I don't even know what you call it. Is it PlayStation Plus, PlayStation whatever it is?
Yeah, Plus.
Yes.
The PS Plus games of the month.
Yeah, so Sonic Forces Now, I haven't really played a Sonic game since Sonic Adventure 2 for the Dreamcast.
A good one, by the way.
Actually, I tell a lie.
The album, by the way, on Spotify.
The person that I work with, he's got a GameCube and he's got Sonic Adventure 2 DX Battle, or whatever the hell it was called. So we've had to play that a few times. But Sonic Forces looks amazing, but I still think the character movement's not quite there. You don't.
The cameras are clunky.
The camera's a bit dodgy. The movement's a little bit skewy. If you don't seem to have full control over where you're going and what you're doing. But yeah, so that's that.
Yeah, I played that on Switch. It was pretty good. But
yeah,
as you said, it's even worse on Switch because tiny little controls, tiny little joysticks, and trying to move around in the cameras, it gets annoying at times.
So the next one was the Shadow of the Colossus, and I played it as much as I played the PlayStation. Was it PlayStation 2 it came out on? I can't remember if it was PS2.
Yeah, PlayStation 2. It came out at the same time as Ico on PlayStation 2.
Yeah, so this was made by the same developer that made the Ico. And I did the exact same bit where you get to the first Colossi, climb up the little fella, stab him in the head a few times, and then I turned it off. But I think I can see myself coming back to this one now. I actually really enjoyed what I played, so I'd recommend that one.
It's fun. No spoiler alerts, but I'll just tell you that the game at times does make you feel like a dick.
My sort of game. So, I played the Final Fantasy VII demo. Oh.
Okay.
And I don't know what I was expecting, but this was better than what I expected.
Well, I can say the same thing. I also played it when I first had news that it dropped, and I honestly, what I was expecting was I knew it was going to be a complete overhaul of everything. Like, I knew they were going to do overhaul, but I didn't know if they were going to copy the events. I know they said they were going to add stuff and everything to the game, like extra bosses. Like that for those who haven't played it yet, the demo ends after you kill off the first Mako reactor, or Mako reactor, as they pronounce it. I don't know how I pronounce the word. But you kill that reactor, and then you have that traditional boss fight from the original Final Fantasy VII, right? The spider guy? Oh, boy. All I can say is, I don't know what your opinion is, if you played the original Final Fantasy VII or not, but I thought that Final Fantasy Spider boss was a hell of a lot harder than the original.
So I played Final Fantasy VII on PS1 a long time ago now, and I can't remember nothing about it apart from thinking, oh my god, these characters look like crap.
I have the PlayStation Classic, and I have the game, and I had the game, the original game, and I had it, and I traded in after I beat it. I beat the game, and I traded it in. Years later, I regretted trading it in. So I went to the local game store, which at the time I didn't know was a ripoff, ripping people off, but guys sold it to me for $70. No, actually, no, it was $70. It was like $60 something. $60 for a used copy of the game, opened, brought it home, played it, and then later that week, out of nowhere, they dropped the digital copy of Final Fantasy VII on PlayStation. On PlayStation, was it PS Vita? Yeah, PS Vita. And I'm like, shit. Well, it's already too late now. Ended up buying the digital version to play on the go, and then PlayStation Classic dropped last year, and a lot of people hated it. But hey, now I get Final Fantasy VII to play, so instead of loading the disc up or re-downloading the digital copy, I've been playing that game on the PlayStation Classic. And yeah, the new demo, I like it. It's just going to be a lot more frustrating than I can see. A lot more to understand.
I think for me, I liked it because it seemed much more of the real-time fighting sort of, not all turn-based sort of thing. Then again, I guess it's you just end up hammering the square button.
True. I'm wondering how many people are going to complain that it's just another hack and slash.
Well, from what I've been told, because again, I've only really played the one on PS2, the Kingdom Hearts. From what I've been told, they're saying that they've taken the combat system from Kingdom Hearts and put it onto this.
That would explain why they took half the Kingdom Hearts team to finish Kingdom Hearts first before they finished this game.
But anyway, the game looks amazing. It plays well. So I am eager to play more. And I was sick of the Final Fantasy VII, the original, where, you know, like I guess it's like the Pokemon sort of problem, where it's just random battles. I got annoyed at that so much.
That is one good thing. I will say that. That is one good thing about the remake I agree with, is that now you can actually see the enemies on the screen before you start a battle with them, so you can try to avoid them before you actually attack them.
Yeah. So then the next games that I played, I just wanted to give Sega some money, so I bought Football Manager Mobile 2020 for my Android phone, and I bought Football Manager 2020 Touch on my iPad. And the Football Manager mobile game is basically, I don't know if you've ever played the games on the PlayStation Portable.
No.
But they're basically that game. But on the PlayStation Portable, they were $30. But on the mobile version, they're about £5-6. So they're a lot cheaper. But on the iPad, the touch version, it is basically like a little bit watered down PC game. So it's got the full match engine, full 3D graphics. It's good for an iPad, and I believe it was on the sale for £13. So that was quite fun. I won't bore people with Football Manager because a lot of people. I showed it to someone, I think it was like yesterday, and she basically was, "Oh, so you just watch it? You know, you're not actually playing the game; you just watch it happen." So yes, but you have to set the things up. You have to give them tactics. You have to buy players, change the formation, and she's like, "Oh." So I don't think she was impressed.
That's why I never got into it.
Yeah. The last game that I've played, again for mobile phone, it's such a bad game, but I actually played it quite a bit, and I put a video up on our YouTube channel. It is called Slap Kings, and it's basically just two people on the screen taking it in turns to slap each other across the face until your energy bar runs out. It's bad, but it's actually... I'll have one more go.
Speaking of mobile phone, if we're talking about mobile phone games, let's see. I have a bunch. Been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links because Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon Masters, for those who haven't played it yet, it's an impressive game. It's not the traditional Pokemon. You're not searching for Pokemon. You're just playing as a trainer with their unique Pokemon. You got to develop teams and go through the story missions, get badges. But one game that I am impressed with that they put on the phones is Langrisser, which is an old school RPG. And it's actually pretty interesting because it's got that top-down old school sprite-looking style and world, and there's quests, and there's in-game purchases, because what game doesn't have in-game purchases nowadays for phones? And then I also started playing the Elder Scrolls Blades, which is in early development, and graphics are impressive for a phone game. I mean, I put it to my girlfriend's iPad, and I was playing it on the iPad too and showing her the graphics. Graphics are impressive, I don't like to have to touch. You touch an area to move your character and then touch another area to move your character rather than holding down and moving your character forward. But
I've completely blanked on the name of it, but I'm sure that there was an EA, I I think it was EA, that released a game on mobile. They had 1, 2, and 3. It was made by the same developer who did the... Oh, no, I've gone. No. It was like a Metroid sort of game, but it was like an undercover agent side-scrolling on the Xbox Arcade, and they released it again with HD update sort of thing. Oh, who the hell made that game?
Well, I just found out, speaking of EA, they brought back EA. They brought back NBA Jam. The old school arcade game is back on phones now.
I'm sure I've had that ages ago.
I didn't even know it was here, and it's the game of the day on iPhone right now in the Apple Store, and it's got the old players on it. It's got Harding, O'Neal, Bryant, Jordan, a bunch of other players that I can barely. It's got some mascots you can play as now. I'm actually going to look into this game because over the weekend, my friends and I, my girlfriend and I was at the con, and my roommate went to visit some family.
Shadow Complex.
Shadow Complex.
That was the game by Epic Games. It wasn't. It was made by Chair Entertainment.
It's not on iPhone, so it must be Android.
No, that was the game that was on the Xbox. Infinity Blade 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, yeah, I have that.
To me, that seems very similar to the Elder Scrolls sort of game. A little bit more action orientated, but it seems very similar, as if they were copying a lot of the style of the Infinity Blade games.
But I'll tell you one thing though, from playing Infinity Blade 1, that game is extremely, extremely hard. You will die a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Talking Dark Souls.
Yeah, I got sick of it and deleted it.
Same here. I didn't even. That's one reason why I picked up an iPhone in the first place. I wanted to play that game because I heard so many raving things about that game. Got my first iPhone, played that game, played it for a while, then I switched to a different game, went back and played it again, got my iPhone 5S, and as soon as I got my iPhone 5S, I'm like, this game is horrible. I'm not getting anywhere. I'm still dying. Generations and generations and generations. My son's dying, his son's dying, his son's dying, his son's dying, and it just keeps repeating itself over and over again. I'm like, nope, done. I don't see why people torture themselves with Dark Souls.
Nah. So, have you got a modern-ish sort of iPhone or iPad? The one that's got like iOS 13. Is it 13?
Yep.
So
13.
you can play the Apple Arcade.
Yeah, I just got the update for that when I got my new iPhone SE, because I found an SE because I like the old school feel of the phone, the smaller screen, because you can hold it in your hand easier and stuff. Yeah, it's not great on the games. I end up playing it on my girlfriend's iPad, but her iPad just updated with 13.2, and I was looking at Apple Arcade because there's a game in there that I want to play that I just bought on Switch. I haven't started playing yet, which is called Oceanhorn. Oceanhorn 2 is on the Apple Arcade, and I'm like, wow. And then I was looking at some of the other games on there. It's unique, and I got this Apple iTunes card that I got for Christmas from my girlfriend's dad, because they're all Apple people, and I haven't known what to use it for, and I was thinking about checking out that Apple Arcade.
Well, if you do check out the Apple Arcade, there's a game on there that you might not like, or it might not be your sort of game, but my friend sort of like made it, so I'd like you to play it and sort of tell me about it.
Okay, what's it called?
Sociable Soccer. It's like a fast-paced arcade like soccer game.
I like soccer. Let's see. Oh, there it is. I can try it free. Without, yep. $4.99 a month until canceled. No ads. Plan auto renews. Okay. The question is there a free trial? 1 month free trial.
You only get 30 days free, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm doing that right now so I can play Oceanhorn as well. All right, there we go.
Right.
Apple Arcade's now being added, and Sociable Soccer is being added. Yes, you'll have a review from that.
Right, that would be perfect.
It looks great from what I'm seeing in the seeing in the trailer and the way that they rush out on the field.
Mm.
Oh, your friend actually got the rights to some of the league teams over there? Oh my god. Whoa, okay.
Yeah, I had a discussion with him when it was first announced, and he was sort of saying that it's millions of pounds to actually get the licenses and names and stuff. It's quite amazing.
Well, if he was able to pull it off, if he's able to pull it off like that, then damn, impressive. That's all I got to say.
I mean, technically speaking, they were going to release it on Steam, and they had a Steam build of the game, and then they must have signed, because he went silent for a few months, and then basically I think the Apple came up to him and were basically saying that we would like this game on our service. So they signed an exclusivity deal with Apple. So they had to stop making the Steam version, make it again, but for the iOS. And then they've released it exclusively on the iOS now, so hopefully it's making them money.
Hopefully, because the last soccer/football game I played on iOS was FIFA 14 or 15, I believe, mobile, and I do thoroughly enjoy that, because having a mobile game that's not on the Switch, because you and I already discussed it, and I think it was our last podcast, that the FIFA game on Switch sucked this year.
Yeah.
So having a game on the go that I can play, and it's got a card game system, looks interesting.
So, should we go into news?
Yeah, I got some news to cover. You got any news to cover?
I've got a few bits and bobs, nothing major.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Justin. I'm the developer of Per Rocket, an iOS space game with cats. And I listen to the One Up Gaming podcast. You can find a link to download my game at facebook.com/perrocket.
And now, it's this week's news with One Up Gaming.
Hi, just David here. Just wanted to say, while I was doing the editing process, it looks as though E3 2020 has been cancelled due to the coronavirus. So, just wanted to put that in there. And thank you, and back with the show.
I'll hit a couple pieces that I found.
Yep.
Since we're on, and I can bring the one up since we're on the topic of talking about sports games right now. I just saw 2K Sports. Now, as much as I do not like 2K Sports right now because of the WWE mishap that they effed up with this year, basically, 2K has made a deal with American Football Licensing, NFL, for a non-simulation title. So they won't be having a simulation to be more of an arcade feel or a more hands-on kind of like Football Manager feel. And it's going to be an official multi-year partnership with the NFL. So they're going to have non-simulation football.
As long as they get the rights and they redo the NFL Blitz.
That's, I think, what they're aiming for, because it says here that it will not be, they announced it will not be a non-simulation football. Do not call it a comeback, they said from 2K. It's mostly going to be arcade feel and social experience feeling of a sports title. That'll play similar to their NBA 2K playgrounds that they had.
Yeah, so that could be good, because I loved NFL Blitz. I thought that was a good game.
Yeah, especially when the football catches on fire. That was amazing.
Yes.
I still have my T-shirt from that game when it first came out. The other piece of news that I have for Marvel fans is, speaking of phone games, we're talking about phone games. Marvel's got a phone game. I was sitting there on YouTube the other day with my girlfriend just cruising through, and all of a sudden an ad caught my attention. So I went and looked into it. Marvel Future Revolution is coming on phones, and it's going to be a full-fledged open-world RPG Marvel style. So I'm looking forward to actually seeing what they can pull pull off with that. And then Pokemon Mystery Dungeon just dropped. For those that's not aware of it, and Animal Crossing is about to just drop as well here, which I have pre-ordered Animal Crossing because I get rid of my 3DS version for the Switch version because Animal Crossing is addicting.
I've only ever played... Was it the DS version? I can't remember. I think it might have been the DS version that I played, and I wasn't a fan.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't, but I became a fan after the Switch version, after the 3DS version came out, and got addicted to it for a while, but then forgot about it. It's one of those, you either do it every day and you play it every day to check in on your residents, or you get annoyed and they leave, and then, it's one of those games that take your attention every day, so let's see how well this lasts.
Yeah.
And then, more important news for GameStop. People who like GameStop. Anybody out there still like GameStop? I mean, my friend got fired from GameStop, so I'm kind of upset at them. But basically, GameStop just announced that they finally have a board of directors coming, and Nintendo's former CEO, Reggie is joining the battlefield of GameStop to try to save GameStop as a company.
I don't think he'll... I think it's just a name, a figurehead, but I don't think it's going to help. I think brick and mortar shops, especially for games, because I used to run a shop when I was younger, and I know for a fact the reason why they want to get in second-hand games and sell second-hand games is because you're basically making a 50% increase in what you've paid for it, whereas if you're buying new games in, you're only making about £3 to £5 dollars profit per game, and it's just not enough to keep going.
Yeah, I mean, arcades are coming back, but they're doing it in a different way. But GameStop's going to try to save their company, because I have some friends who still work there, by turning their GameStops, and they're testing it in one of the worst states in America called Missouri. Missouri and another state, Oklahoma, but Missouri. They're testing it, but the new GameStop layout, they still have their used games on the shelves, and they still have some new games on the shelves, but they don't have the shelves. It's not the small compact stores anymore, because the stores are now filled with tables and chairs, and the new motto is going to be like an internet cafe for people. Adults can come in and play board games like tabletop RPGs like Dungeons and Dragons, and the younger generation can come in and play Fortnite all they want. It gets them out of the house. I think it's going to be a pay to cruise the internet model, so you can pay to play. I don't know, but apparently it's working, and they're trying to convert several more stores into that kind of model. So we'll see, but it doesn't look too hopeful for GameStop going forward.
Like I say, in the UK, we've had a few of those retro gaming cafes, and a lot of them do close pretty quickly.
Yeah, they're popular in Japan. They're very popular in Japan, but when they try to come overseas to Europe and the US, it doesn't do as well. Unless, of course, you're like a barcade and you're serving alcohol and allowing people to play games, because over the weekend I went to a place that's exclusive to where I'm from in Ohio called 16-Bit. And 16-Bit is basically, it's a barcade experience. You come in, you buy an alcoholic drink. They don't serve food. It's just an alcoholic drink, and they have different mixed drinks and everything. And then they have hundreds, if not, well, not hundreds. I wouldn't say. The one I went to wasn't big enough, but some of the other ones are bigger. They have about 20 or so retro arcade games. Plus, they also have N64 hooked up, Sega Saturn and Sega Dreamcast hooked up, and anything retro. There's nothing modern. It's like anything from the GameCube era upwards, or PlayStation 2 era upwards, basically is not hooked up on their screens. And they do pretty well. Like, they were packed.
It's like 2 years ago, I was in talks. I got to the point of signing contracts, but I had to pull out in the end, where I was going to rent a space, and I was going to have the PS1, PS2, Xbox, GameCube, Master System, Mega Drive, Sega Saturn, Dreamcast, an arcade sort of like machine, Nintendo 64, that might have been it, all set up with all the games. Because I've got roughly about 70 to 100 games for each of the consoles. And I was going to sort of set all them up and sell like coffees and drinks, and basically like people come in, get a coffee or a can of, a can of Coke, and spend like £2 and get an hour on the game or something stupid.
Oh, they do work, but I found one model that worked. 'Cause I had an idea at one time too, but it was going to be too expensive to do it. Is I wanted to have an arcade / barcade and restaurant all in one. Like I wanted to have food in there that were like video game themed sandwiches, like a Mario burger or a Smash burger or something like that. Ideas like that. But I always thought that the biggest hurdle to that would be getting the licensing in order to license the sandwich names, and then licensing the drink names as well, and then having to have a bar license and all that stuff. But one day I hope to have that, because I want to bring back the arcade experience. I miss the arcade experience. Like with your idea you were just talking about. Remember back in the day when GameStop and like other stores used to have those machines that were hooked up where they had the controller attached to this really long ass
the
metal thing.
Kiosks.
Yeah, the kiosks, and they had the controller the cord was protected by the little metal thing that had some weird plastic coating on it that bent, but the TVs were there and you could play the games, and they had it set up where you could play multiple games on one console. That's kind of what I was hoping to do, but it's kind of hard to find the kiosks. And it's even harder to try to get specialized discs made or whatever to switch between systems. You'd have to have somebody on guard to make them switch between games, or just have one game set up at each system.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I looked into it, but then I decided that I couldn't afford to leave my job and hope that it took off.
Well, that's the risk with starting a business. That's the risk I took, because being a stay-at-home dad is a full-time job for me as it is, but I needed something to try to turn into a passion, and restaurant was not for me at the time. Mm-hmm. Still isn't yet, but I see we got some new releases on the horizon.
Anything decent, or is it just filler?
My Hero 1's Justice 2 is coming out. It's for all the My Hero Academia anime fans, but what I'm seeing is Neo 2. They made a sequel to Neo, which was a hell of a hard game, and they had to make a sequel. It was made by Team Ninja. Same company made Ninja Gaiden. Plays exactly like Ninja Gaiden. Well, shouldn't say exactly, but hard like Ninja Gaiden, and they get a second one coming out.
Yeah, but is it as bad as Ninja Gaiden 3?
I've never played Ninja Gaiden 3 because Black had me. Still has me. My soul's sucked in. And for all you fans out there who want a review, Doom Eternal's coming out. So we'll have a review coming in from my roommate, who's a huge Doom fan. He can even go into the reviewing the other Doom games and comparing the Dooms for you guys. But Doom 3 comes out, and then we have a weird game coming out. David, we have a weird game coming out in April. Disaster Report 4 is coming out.
I wonder if it's just follows straight on from Disaster Report 3.
The last time the Disaster Report games came was on PlayStation 2, to my knowledge, and I liked the game, but it was set like a survival horror game, but instead of creatures and monsters, you are battling against the elements.
What was that game that came out for the 360 and PS3 like download? It was like all just about black and white, and it was like you started off on like a big bridge, like a San Francisco sort of bridge, and there was like an earthquake, and you had to get across the bridge. Can't remember what it's called now.
It wasn't Disaster Report, was it? Oh, no, I Am Alive, I think.
That could be it. That might be it. Like a really early, basic sort of like Tomb Raider sort of controls.
Yeah.
It was actually not too bad.
We have a new Predator game coming out, which is the first in a while, because we had Alien Isolation, which was a great game, but now you get Predator, and you talked about the Hunt Showdown game earlier.
Is that the one that's been made by the developer that did the Friday the 13th?
I believe...
Like
Let me check it.
5v1 or 4v1 or whatever it is.
Here it is. Predator Hunting Grounds is going to be made by... blah, blah, blah. You don't tell me. It's getting a trial weekend. Oh, nope, Sony. Sony's publishing it exclusively.
Oh, yeah, they're publishing it, but...
Let me look. Predator Hunting Grounds. Developed by IllFonic, who made the game called Dead Alliance, and Friday the 13th, the game for Ultimate Slasher Edition. Yeah, it's the one who made the Friday the 13th game for Switch.
Yeah, it's the same developers. Because the rumours are that they made the Friday the 13th game, they were in the middle of doing updates for it, and then the company that owned the Friday the 13th took away their license, so they can't do any more updates for it. So then they took the game engine and they just quickly put a Predator game onto it.
Well, if that's true, then this should be a pretty epic Predator game, because I did see about that lawsuit, and that lawsuit was horrible. The guy who originally developed and came up with Jason from Friday the 13th decided, I don't like the way this is going, I want more money. And the lawsuit took off because they were going to do a Jason X in space, which was one of my favorite Jason movies, and that got canned. And I'm like, what's the point of even playing this anymore? It's kind of lost its touch for me. So if Predator is going to be like that, then you know Predator is going to have multiple reasons to want to play it.
Yeah, so... news that came out about the Resident Evil 3 remake, and unlike the original game, where when you went into a safe zone, the Nemesis wouldn't follow you. Unfortunately, on this new one, even when you're in a safe zone, the Nemesis can still follow you into those sort of safe zones.
I saw that, and I also saw some crashing into walls. He crashes through walls now, and they said he becomes even more stalkerish than he was in the original. I'm like, I don't know if I want to play this, because Nemesis was my favorite character and my favorite movie in the Resident Evil series as well, and I don't know if I want to play this now, because if he's going to be stalking me every turn of the way, then I'm probably going to be wanting to crush my controller.
So, I'm just looking through to see if there's anything else that catches my eye in the news. There doesn't look to be that much. Oh, Command & Conquer Remastered Collection, going to be released this June. I quite enjoyed the Command & Conquer games.
I saw that, but I don't have hopes up because it's EA. EA kind of always ruins things for me.
So, Panzer Dragoon, everyone knows that there's a Switch remake happening, but Panzer Dragoon's Saturn trilogy is being reimagined for VR, so that could be quite cool.
Yeah, this is good. This is good news for gamer fans, because as I was just talking to my roommate Joe about, the fact when these games come out that are remakes and remasters and stuff, it makes the original copies either go up in price even more or down in price. If they go on down in price, since I don't have a VR, I'll just go ahead and snag the originals and try to play the originals on the system they came out on.
So, next up, Norman Reedus is in talks with Kojima, and they're saying that there's a lot of rumours saying that they're both back to do the new Silent Hill together.
I saw that. I didn't know if it was confirmed or not, but I hope the hell it is, because I've been waiting on the Silent Hills game They teased us with the damn PT. Konami basically said they're not going to do anything with Silent Hills. They're pretty much done. They want to do Metal Gear Solid instead. But that last Metal Gear Solid wasn't even a Metal Gear Solid. It was Metal Gear...
Do you have this?
Metal Gear Online?
My third one.
Metal Gear Rising, it was. No, not Rising. Metal Gear... what was it? It was the one where they get ported into a different world.
But it was online, basically, wasn't it? It was like an online...
Yeah, it was that last one, that last crappy one. And the person who played Snake, Steve Bloom, I think it was, or something, doesn't want to come back to play Snake with them because he's not happy with the way Konami handled things. So I don't blame him, but if they get Silent Hills on Kojima's side, then damn it to hell, take my money. I will play.
So the last bit of news that I've really got is, after months of rumours, it's finally been confirmed that Horizon Zero Dawn will be coming to PC, and it'll be coming this summer, so June, July sort of time. So that'll be quite interesting.
Well, if that's the case, since we know that's the case, that means for all you guys out there who do not have, guys and gals, all you guys who want to play this game, if you don't have a PS4 Pro, but you have a 4K PC that can play PC titles, get it for the PC. It's worth it. Plus, there'll probably be mods. There's probably going to be mods. I hope there's mods.
So, do you have any more news, or should we just do the rounding up of the end of the show?
No more news as far as I know of game-wise. Except, I do have news. PlayStation 5... They might have leaked the specs, and they said that PlayStation Sony has already announced that the systems are going to be quite costly. And so people have been estimating, we're thinking about like around $500 to $600 for a base system and $600 to $700 for the Pro. But Sony has basically said that they're going to launch the Pro model the same day that they're launching the regular model. So for people who want the 8K Pro model for the new 8K technology,
which will be widely available for about 6 years.
Yeah, that, and not only that, but the problem is when it comes to 8K technology, who's going to want to shell out $700 for a system and then another $500 to $600, maybe $1,000 or more for an 8K TV? I mean,
I will warn you. My friend, a couple of years ago, bought an 85, I think he said it was, 90, maybe a 90-inch 4K TV, and he spent £4,000.
Right, so your friend bought the big one that they were talking about a couple of years back, which was that one that was made by Sony. That was the biggest thing they made. I know Sony made a 95-inch. They made 125-inch, and they made a stadium-sized one for people who wanted the stadium-sized TVs.
So,
of course, $14,000 for a stadium-sized TV is a little expensive.
Get two.
Why not buy the whole stadium while you're at it? Your own privatized, have your own gaming events there. Just have people come in, pay to watch, and then there you go, Major League Gaming on the big screens. But yeah, they said it's going to be quite expensive, whereas Xbox said that they're going to be announcing something very soon around E3 time for their system and their specs and pricing and everything. So, and they said it's going to be cheaper than PlayStation.
Well, hopefully.
And they said Google Stadia is trying to make a comeback as well, guys.
Well, technically they haven't really launched yet.
No, they haven't. They sold it, but it hasn't really launched fully, and I was going to get one. I was going to be one of those original people, but then I saw the sadness, and I'm like, well, I can just buy the damn games I want on PC instead and still have the 4K experience without having to have it, because I use my PC for business, so why not use it for personal pleasure as well?
Yeah, might as well.
So that's all the news I have. I don't have any other news that I know of for games.
No, I think that will do. So, thank you all for listening. It's been One Up Gaming. Please visit our newly relaunched website at oneupgaming.co.uk. If you want to buy any t-shirts or mugs that we sell, go to bluecyborg.com and search 1UP Gaming. If you want to help us, please go to our Patreon site, which is patreon.com/OUG, and subscribe to us there. We have a music album out. It's called Games Inspired Music, and it's available in loads of places. If you buy it, I think it's only about £6, and 20% of each sale will go to the Child's Play charity. We have our first 100 podcasts, plus a Sans Pants Radio interview at audiobooksontape.com. It's £9, and £1 of that will go to the Diabetes UK charity. On our website we have the Amazon links, so please click on them. Use Amazon as normal. You don't pay any extra, but we get a little tiny bit of money for advertising Amazon on our website. We're on Facebook, so just search 1UP Gaming. We're on YouTube, just search 1UP Gaming. If you want to go to our Twitch, it's twitch.tv/OUG official. We're on Twitter, it's @OUG official. And if you want to subscribe to our podcast, just go to any of the podcast suppliers and subscribe to 1UP Gaming. Please give positive feedback, and 5 stars helps with rankings and ratings when people are searching for us. So, it's been me, David.
And Brian.
Brian, yep.
Don't forget to check out the Dating Warriors too if you know people who are gamers, anime nerds, comic geeks. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube, BrianEccles.com in case you can't find it. And David also has some new stuff that he forgot to tell people about. There's some new posters that are coming out if you want to decorate your gaming room. Check it out. There's some pictures on there, and if you want, I think you take requests. There's things on there that look pretty cool, so it'd be epic for a gaming room.
So, yeah, go to our website, oneupgaming.co.uk. I believe it's in the top right-hand corner. I think it's the store page, and I've got pictures up of all the posters that we'll be making, just for you to have a look at. So it's been 1UP Gaming podcast 242. Thank you. Goodbye.
And we're done.
Do you have trouble sleeping? Tossing and turning all night? Nothing you do seems to help. You're not getting your recommended 6 to 8 hours of sleep each night. Well, now there's a solution. Now there's Fat Cat Fly. With Fat Cat Fly, you'll easily get the sleep that you deserve. Download for free on the iOS App Store, and you're guaranteed to get a good night's sleep with very few side effects, as you help a fluffy kitty eat all the junk food that he wants. Side effects may include sleeplessness and desire for cheeseburgers if erection lasts more than 5 hours. See a physician. Try Fat Cat Fly today. Visit facebook.com/fatcatfly because you deserve a better life.
Hey guys, Justin here. I just wanted to say that I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about you a lot. Yes, you in particular, in that way. And I wanted to say, I think you're great. I've always said that about you. And I was wondering, if you think we're great, if you could give us a quick rating on iTunes, we'd really appreciate it. It would really, really help us out in that, podcasty sort of way. And if you're feeling particularly festive, perhaps even a little saucy, maybe stop by our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/OUG and see if you can't slip a few bucks our way. After all, every little penny or whatever space money they use in Europe helps out the show. Thanks for listening. OUG Gaming will always be free, but with your support, we can always move forward and always be better.
Go baby, go baby, go baby, go baby. I love you, said I love you. Never put nothing above you. Won't let go once I can hug you on the floor. They hate because you let them know that you the ish. Now they hating not because you at the club and proving it. And so they choosing it too late cause now they using it. Can't wait from how you doing it. I know that they pursuing it. You will kindly tell them now my baby's here to watch me go. And for him I put on a show. You just blessed to be here so. My baby goes on. Her body rolls on. I tell her hold on. With clothes on. Been on it so long. I think we gotta go. Hit my grown man. You know that I love you so. Go baby go now. Go now. Baby go now. Go now. Baby go now. Baby go now.
go for me. I tell my baby go, but she's not even going though. It's the trust I have in her, be careless what do say to her. Yeah, I'm feeling kinda slick, I'm loving how I swim in it. No, I'm not taming her, the only one's engraving it. Signed and sealed right from her lips, you need to know that she's my miss. Treat her like a treasure though, I never wanna let her go. I keep her right in front of me, my heart she will forever be. I do this so she'll never see, life with me no misery. You deserve the world, my queen. Yeah, I'm back down on one knee, a boy to a man that you have seen. No matter who's wrong, it's you and me. I'm coming for you, baby, so we can stay happy. I'm trying to work so hard for you and me. Go, baby, go now.
Go, baby, go.
Baby, go.
Go, baby, go, baby, go, baby, go.
Baby, go.
Ha.
Go, baby, go.
Go, baby, go.
Baby, go now.
Just go, baby, go now.
I love when you go for me.
Go for me.
I love when you go for me. I love when you go for me. Say I love when you go for me. I love when you go for me. I love when you go for me. You go for me. Say I love when you go for me.
Say my baby's so bad, she can get it so glad that she loves me, know that I'm a hubby so sad. You looking so mad, oh you didn't know that. Next time you should check the ring, I know that one's a throwback. I know you see her flashing it, especially when she gets it low. I'm rubbing on and grabbing it, I tell my girl go ahead and go.
Baby, go now. Baby, go now. Go now. Go, baby, go now. Baby, go now. Go, baby, go now. Baby, go now. I love when you go for me. I love when you go for me. I love when you go for me. Say I love when you go for me. 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 Say I love when you go for me.
Yo, go baby, go. Just go, baby,
G. E.
Yeah, LGE. Sign in contact, get it. Ha.
We got it. We got it. We got it.